All right, everybody. With that being said, what is going on? If you don't know, now you do know. You're officially tuned into a very special edition of the HFWB podcast series. This is your host, Clifton Pope. And before I get into where I'm at and who we're going to be bringing on to this episode of the HFWB podcast series, this episode of the HFWB podcast series is brought to you by the Go and Feel Great system at Feel Great. goandfeelgreat.com. Be sure to check them out and learn how you can feel great for the long haul. And at the same time, it's being brought to you by athleticism.com, to where you can unlock the secrets to overall human performance. Be sure to go visit that website, check out all their products and services. You won't be disappointed. But with that being said, if you haven't noticed from looking behind me, we are actually here at the Jazz Room Corpus Christi. For those who live here in Corpus Christi, Texas, you can basically find this location on 1314 Ayer Street here in Corpus Christi, Texas. For those who are wondering, what's the Jazz Room Corpus Christi? Where are you at, Clifton, and all this stuff, right? But I'm actually here for this very special edition because I am grateful for the opportunity as far as just to sit down with just any business owner, any entrepreneur, any go-getter, any mover and shaker that's doing great things within this city. And when I found out about this place, I had to come down here myself and get a feel for it. I'm not going to lie to you, y'all. There's wonderful jazz music in the background. It's a wonderful, beautiful, classy setup here on the west side of Corpus Christi, Texas. But let's get back to the reason on why I'm here. The person who I'm about to bring on is basically the owner, the manager, and the CEO of the Jazz Room Corpus Christi. She's also a music artist, which most people don't know, and we're going to get into all her that's specific talent as well. And at the same time, when she's not doing all this day by day, she's also handling her business as she should as a sales and staff manager at Kemper Life Insurance, which we'll dive into a little bit of that as well. And she's from Columbus, Mississippi, here in Corpus Christi, Texas, where we're here at the Jazz Room CC. I want to welcome everyone, the lovely Miss Wizdom herself. And that's Wizdom with a Z. That's Wizdom with a Z. And for those who are watching right now on YouTube or listening to it on Apple and Spotify podcasts, the lovely Miss Wizdom just held up a copy.
Yes, of my album, my vinyl record.
Her vinyl record here, Wizdom
with a Z.
With a Z. That's her vinyl record for those who are watching on YouTube. But for those who are listening on Apple and Spotify podcasts, Miss Wizdom just showed her vinyl record of her album that she does have out that you can download and stream on all music platforms at this very moment.
Yes.
But with that being said, Miss Wizdom, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm blessed. Thank you so much for having me here, Cliff. What an honor. I mean, I appreciate you being here at the Jazz Room with me. I love your podcast. I'm so excited that I'm one of your guests. So I'm an honored guest.
I'm grateful that you're making time out of your busy schedule just to sit down. We've been trying to make this happen for quite some time. Yes. But it's like we were talking about before we started recording, all great things take time.
That's right.
And it's all timing at the end of the day within every step within our journey of life that we go through. So for everybody who's listening to the podcast who wants to know, who is Miss Wizdom? How would you best describe that for the people listening?
Wow, that is a loaded question.
As far as your background, your everything.
I mean, I'm an artist. I'm a music lover. I'm a singer. I'm a mother. I'm a child of God first and foremost. I am a servant of Christ. And many others. I serve everybody. I'm here to serve you. I'll serve you. I am a servant first. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. I'm impressed that you know a little bit about my background because I didn't tell you that.
Had to do my homework.
Yes, I'm impressed. But I was born in Detroit. I was raised in Columbus, Mississippi. After Hurricane Katrina, I was in Biloxi, Mississippi at the time in 2005. So my children and I relocated to Birmingham, Alabama, and that's Huntsville, Birmingham. That's where we moved from. We were there for the past 10, 12 years. And we moved, my son and I moved here. So I was a single mom. I have two amazing children, Star and Nazareth. And I mean, I'm just a regular round the way girl, down to earth, humble. But what happened was my job, Kemper, they moved me. They relocated me here from Alabama, which I'm no longer even with Kemper. But I just parted ways with them. No problem. No shade against Kemper. It's just time for me. I just turned 50 last month. It's time for me to do my thing, to brand myself. So I'm an independent agent now, independent broker as far as insurance is concerned, and I am the owner CEO of Jazz Room Corpus Christi. So that is my passion right now. It's just time. I've worked decades for other companies, and now it's just time for me to work for myself. My company relocated me here, and I love jazz music. I love all music, but I noticed that there was not a jazz venue, and I couldn't believe that. I was like, well, do they like jazz music here? But I moved downtown. So in October, I walked outside and I heard the jazz festival happening, and I was like, they do like jazz.
They do love jazz music. That's like one of the biggest events here in Corpus Christi, Texas. Yes. It's the Texas Jazz Music Festival, the wonderful 3-day festival of just hearing different variety of artists perform their variety of works within jazz.
Yes,
it's great.
And it's such a blessing because my band, my quartet, which is, we have a trio every weekend on Saturday nights. Well, we're going to add another piece. My quartet and I will be performing at this year's Jazz Festival, which is really excited. So we're really excited about that. Really excited. So you want to catch us there.
Yes.
But my company relocated me here. I heard the music and I said, it's time for me to take this leap of faith and do this. And so I decided around December that I was going to do it. And I opened up on Valentine's Day. So 2024, and now here we are in the summer of 2024, and people are talking about Jazz Room, and I can't believe it. I'm really excited about this whole project.
I mean, people are talking about it so much. It's Wizdom, to where I'm literally have to come here myself to get a feel for it and sense the vibes and just say like, okay, this is the real deal. This is legitimate. And for those who are listening right now on Apple and Spotify podcasts and not watching on YouTube, I'm literally sitting here in the Jazz Room, Corpus Christi, as we speak, as you can tell from the logo behind me and stuff. Before we dive back into that in particular, you touched on something that was very interesting as far as just taking on that leap of faith, as far as just you were tired of working for individuals, making other people money. Now it's time to like, I want to stand on my own 10 toes down with a strong foundation underneath me to where it doesn't crack, to where I want to basically just take advantage of just being your own boss and taking control of your own destiny and kind of establishing not only a sense of just financial education, but at the same time beginning the necessary steps towards financial freedom, which is something that all entrepreneurs, all business owners strive to do on a regular basis is financial freedom, having multiple streams of income, and finding ways to where we can make money work for us to where we're not even working. We could be asleep and we're making money. And that's kind of one of the main reasons why I started the HFWB podcast series, which leads to me asking you, what sparked that drive and that passion where you wanted to take that leap of faith as far as just diving more into just saying, hey, I'm tired of working for others. I want to start my own business and I want to be able to give back to those through my business.
It's so funny because it's innate. I believe that, everyone's not an entrepreneur. I think you're born with those traits. You don't always tap into them, because it's never a great time unless you just run into a whole bunch of money, but it's always a challenge. It's always something that you have to just have passion behind and you just have to believe. And I just believe in my ability, my talent. I've always been a singer all my life. And I just felt like, I love doing this. I want to do this for me, whether I make a lot of money or not, that's up to destiny. But I know that I will be happy doing this. And I love not only to sing, but to hear other people sing and to perform and spoken word and arts. I'm a theater teacher by trade. I went to college and received my degree, and I taught high school theater. So I love all things artistic. So I was like, you know what? If it just pays for itself, I'll be happy. So that was my ultimate goal, not to quit my job and just rely on this, but to transition to independent work so I could have more time for my true passion. And the funny thing is, I'm passionate about sales as well. I'm passionate about insurance sales. My father sold life insurance. So now here I am, a chip off the old block. I never thought I would be the insurance woman, but I am. I'm the insurance lady. My dad was the insurance man. Now I'm the insurance lady. I was the insurance man's daughter all my life. And so it's so funny, but I have passion there too. But I just felt like, again, instead of promoting and branding other corporations and companies, why not use that same passion to develop and brand my own company? And that's where we are. And I want to inspire and I want people to feel inspired. I want them to feel like, motivation. Like if this little woman from Mississippi can move here not knowing anyone and just take this leap of faith, I can do it as well. And that's where I am. That's where I am. I'm sorry, my phone's ringing. No, but that's what happened. I was like, it's time. I think also with age, everybody doesn't always feel ready to do things at 25 and 30. Yeah. But I was like, I'll be 50 this year. And I said, you know what? It's time.
Yeah,
it's just time. So that's what happened.
No, and it's funny that you mention it because we all have a point in our life to where it's like, I feel like, is there more to it? Not only that, but I feel like I could take on more and I can. I feel it gets to a point where it's like you want to begin to follow your overall calling on what you're meant to do in this world before you leave it, based off of, like you alluded to, your passion, your skill, your gift or talent, because God gives you these things for a reason. So you might as well put them to use before your time is up. So I love the fact that you're doing that and you're tapping into your passion for just singing, and not only that, and creating an opportunity and a platform for others to sing.
Yes. And blow horns and play keys and beat drums and do spoken word and read scripts and all of it. You know what I mean?
Where does your love for music come from? Did it come from like growing up, like for instance, listening to like
absolutely
like your mom or your dad,
my father,
your aunts or uncles playing music,
members at church? Because my dad's, he just stepped down as a pastor because he's 79, but he was a pastor. My granddad was a pastor. So I was raised in church. My mom said that I would literally hum and try to sing before I was speaking words as a baby in the cradle.
You were in tune with the frequencies and the vibrations already.
Yeah, so it was just, I don't even remember a time when I didn't sing or I didn't love music. And yeah, we would all the time at church or Christmas, holidays, Thanksgiving, we'd be getting around and we'd sing and we would, just do impromptu performances all the time. And it does more so come from my father's side of the family. However, my mom's side is also musically inclined, but my dad's side is the side that would really, I think we would always never fails. We would always be performing at our family functions.
My dad's side of the family is more in tune with the music side. Specifically, my grandfather. He was like a wonderful tenor saxophone player. He actually used to have like his own little jazz band that used to play at the Galvan Ballroom once upon a time back in like the 60s and 70s. He was a talented musician, but he was just, the one thing that was just his downfall, he was just a drug addict, just to be quite honest. And then that and being involved, and he just, from my dad's perspective, he was probably one of the most evil men that he knew. And that said a lot. And it explains why I didn't meet him and why he passed away. Because a lot of people don't know. My dad's father, he passed away when my dad was in the 11th grade. I kid you not, Ms. Wizdom. He was in the kitchen at my dad's house. This was before he had a fence, all the stuff, the patio and everything. It was just open field. Had to do with, let's just say, money was involved, owed money to certain people. They came, took him out through the kitchen window and stuff. And it's a shame. I say that to say this. He was a talented musician.
Oh, I know.
So he could have went
so far.
He could have went so far, but it's like, but fast forward down, passing it down to me. I used to play tenor saxophone growing up.
You need to come here and do your thing, man.
I don't know if I still remember how to.
Listen, it's a jam session here all the time. People literally pick up old instruments and they're like, you know what? It's been a minute. But this place, it comes to life. It's a magical place, especially at night when the sun goes down and the blue lights come on. you're in a dream.
I might have to dig up my old tenor saxophone to see if I can find
it. I'm telling you, it wouldn't be the first time. We've got people who have literally done things for the first time on stage here that they say, I've never done this. Even karaoke, they're like, I've never done karaoke, but here I feel safe. It's something about this place. This is a special place. So you should definitely bring it. But yeah, speaking about your grandfather, I hate to hear the unfortunate story, but it happens so much because we're all enduring spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
And when you are feeding yourself with drugs and alcohol, it demons manifest. Yeah. And they will stop you. They're coming to kill, steal, and destroy, and they will stop you from your destiny. So it's not a story we haven't heard. It's all too familiar, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes, because drugs and entertainment, they somehow intertwine.
Yeah.
So you have to be on that straight and narrow.
You have to literally be almost have lived like a straight edge lifestyle, or if not have like that mental and that emotional and spiritual control within yourself.
That's right.
Just continue to stay forth the track.
Because my favorite singer, Billie Holiday, she died unfortunately of a drug overdose. It's so many. I mean, we've just heard it so many times. But yeah, I was inspired by the music that my father would allow us to listen to. We couldn't listen to a lot of secular music, but he allowed us to listen to gospel and jazz, as if jazz isn't secular. But in his mind, it wasn't the same as the Prince and the stuff that was out,
Honestly, you could make an argument that the Princes and the Michael Jacksons and the Marvin Gayes of the world around that time in the 80s, they were heavily influenced by jazz music and blues music.
And hip hop, original hip hop was all jazz infused.
Exactly.
It was. I
wasn't even going to go into that.
That's what made it hip hop. That's the difference between hip hop and rap. Is rap came from hip hop. What the best part of hip hop was the jazz infusion.
Yes.
We would hear James Brown. We would hear Miles Davis samples. You'd hear all these different horns in hip hop, and that's my genre because I grew up in the 80s. So that's also been a heavy influence in my life. But yeah,
I'm just grateful that I grew up in I guess you could say the back end of the 90s and early 2000s to where that was like, I feel like I was part of the last era that at least understands the importance of that before it transitioned
to what it is now.
To where it is now. I feel like I was like that middle child gap in a way.
Oh yeah, and that is a blessing.
Yes. Speaking of being a blessing, if you haven't figured it out, those who are listening to the HFWB podcast series and watching on YouTube, we are in the jazz room, Corpus Christi, as you can tell from the logo behind us.
Jazz room,
so it's like, for those who are listening to the HFWB podcast series, not only here in Corpus Christi, Texas, with Wizdom, but all across the world.
Yay.
Describe the jazz room, Corpus Christi, kind of like, what was the origin of it, number one, and number two, just like the vision that you have behind it, and where do you see it going forward?
Oh my gosh, this is lovely.
Because we were talking about it before we started recording, as far as all the things you wanted to do, as far as like script reading, vinyl record nights. A lot of people don't notice, but they're going to notice when this episode comes out. We're going to incorporate spoken word poetry night and stuff. And it's like, what is like the vision of what you had in mind when you started Jazz Room Corpus Christi, and where do you see it going?
So it's a few things. A place of artistic expression. It's an arts and entertainment venue. It's not a club or a bar per se. I mean, it's BYOB, and I do have drinks to serve for a donation, but we don't have a liquor license. We're not about liquor. We're about music. We're about arts and entertainment. So there's no age minimum required. All ages are welcome. What it is, the vision for me is a plethora of things. So it kind of, imagine the Cotton Club, right? From the 20s, right? New York in the 20s. So now we're in Corpus in the 20s, in the new 20s, right? So it's a little different. It's like the Cotton Club vibe with the blue lights and the cafe chairs and stuff. And it's like a constant jam session. You never know. It's always open mic. You never know who you're going to hear. The other night, a gentleman came and he joined us with his trombone. You can just be visiting and say, hey, I got my instrument in the car. Is it okay? Yes, come on, let's jam. If you want to sing with a band, my band will be here to receive. It's like a receiving house in a way. Like, come, let's jam. You can enjoy the music or you can take part in it. That's part of it. The other part is we want to do like the vision for the future is jazz room and gallery. So we will have like local visual art on the walls
supporting the art and entertainment.
As long as it's a music inspired art piece, it'll be on the wall. You can purchase that for a donation. So it's just all about arts and entertainment. All ages are welcome. In the future, I want to have some classes, like maybe a 6-week program for the youth, where they can do 2 weeks of visual art, 2 weeks of music, 2 weeks of acting, stuff like that. So it's all about arts and entertainment. But at night, Saturday night, it's like the Cotton Club. That's what it's like. Now, our lineup is Thursday night. Right now, we have comedy karaoke is what it's called. It's different. Right. It's not just stand-up comedy. It's stand-up comedy karaoke, which is really funny the way they do it. They'll do their comedy pieces, and then in between, like the instrumentals or the music break, they'll tell a few jokes. It's really funny. And then the songs they do are funny. Yes, the songs they choose are pretty funny too.
Some parodies.
Yes. And then Friday nights is karaoke and blues, but it's not always blues. It's acoustic guitar playing, but it could be whatever the acoustic guitar player wants to play. You could hear alternative. You can hear all sorts of songs. You will not just hear blues, but that's the premise. I have Mike Feather, who plays a mean harmonica, mean guitar. He's been doing his thing on a regular here, but now I'm switching it up. I'm going to add some different musicians here on Friday nights. That's where we're going to do our spoken word poetry on Friday, the 26th of July will be our first time doing that. And then Saturday nights, it's always live jazz, no matter what. So, I mean, if you can understand that it's just all about arts and entertainment, all ages welcome. That's the jazz room. That's it. That's what it is.
It's just a nice, family friendly, fun, safe, comfortable vibe that you're providing for people to express themselves through art, express themselves through music, express themselves through comedy, telling jokes, and letting their voice be heard literally through the power of singing and through the power of karaoke and through the power of just spoken words. It just comes down to just speaking your piece.
Self-expression. However you like to. That's really what it is. It's about self-expression.
It's like self-expression, like you just said, Ms. Wizdom, self-discovery.
Yes.
And most importantly, self-esteem. Establishing a theme for yourself. So I feel like all of those things together as one. And I feel like you have a safe environment here as far as the Jazz Room Corpus Christi. And I'm telling you, for those who live here in Corpus Christi, Texas, listening to this particular episode, you need to come check it out.
You have
because
to.
It's like
you're missing out, and we're missing you. You're missing us, and we're missing you.
Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm over here looking at the nice little mini bar setup. I'm looking at the stage right here with all the instruments. We got the wonderful jazz music in the background. It just comes down to just learning how to express yourself through the power of just art, music, and entertainment within itself, which is actually a good segue for the next question that I actually have for you. For someone, Ms. Wizdom, who's having trouble just expressing themselves just in general in life, what would be some key pieces of advice you would give that person who's having trouble like discovering like that skill, that gift, that talent? What would you tell them to help pull that out of them to where they can be the best version?
If they're local, they need to come see me, because I am a teacher and I love to teach people how to self-express. I'm really good at that. The students who were the IEP students in Alabama, they were IEP, or the trouble students, or the ones that were challenged in certain subjects. They would come to my classroom and let it all out. And we would have shows and performances, and other teachers would say, is that the same kid? Yeah,
I didn't even recognize him before. No.
So when you say self-discovery, oh my gosh, that is so on point. Self-discovery is going to happen through the expression of any art form. I believe we are all artists. You just have to tap into it, and you already know. You just might be a little shy. Maybe someone hasn't hesitant. Maybe someone hasn't encouraged you. But if you're not present and you can't come to Corpus, that's okay as well. Just tap into your passion. You have a passion. You like something. You like either beating on a drum, blowing on a horn, playing some strings, or singing, or speaking, or acting. Just start. Don't think, well, I can't do that. I'd love to do that, and I wish I could do that, but I've never done that before. Just do it. Just start. Find local venues wherever you live. Find your local theaters. Um, Go on social media and join certain groups, and you will find there are people who are novice as well. And sometimes those are the most talented people. I know Terrence Howard was stating that he's never had any acting classes. It was just something that he believed he could do, and he wanted to try it. And Terrence Howard is amazing.
Terrence Howard
is amazing. He's the truth.
He's a genius.
He's a genius.
I don't think people realize like how much a level of intellect that man has. I watch his videos sometimes about him just talking about like the universe and space and everything. And I actually was watching clips of like his recent Joe Rogan interview that he did, and I'm just like, man, you done come.
He's so deep.
He's deep.
He makes you think.
He's deep. He's deeper than empty pockets for sure. And it's like he opens up your mind to where I'm like, you've come a long way, Terrence Howard, from Hustle and Flow and Empire and all that stuff. Like you really are on a conscious level, if not a higher level than that.
He really is. He's on another dimension. But in another dimension. But yes, so just tap into it. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
You know, I was born with certain gifts of music, singing, but I also love to act, and I didn't tap into that until much later in life.
Yeah.
But as a result, I've been able to be in a few films. I've got a film that's actually coming out now that I went to New York and shot. It's called The Third Week.
Oh, wow.
Film.
Exclusive.
I did a film with Kevin Sorbo, who played Hercules. It's on Netflix. I was an extra. Dionne Warwick was in that film. And it's called Let There Be Light. It's a faith-based film.
Okay.
But just because I tried and I showed up, go to some of these casting calls and, just I want to be an extra. Just engulf yourself in the things that you feel like you have a passion towards, even if you've never before tried it. Just try it. Just go for it. And it is so rewarding. You would feel so good about yourself. And the self-esteem comes, like you really hit the nail on the head when you said those things, for sure, because self-esteem is definitely coming your way when you do these things. You'll feel so proud. You're establishing
a theme for yourself, and at the same time, it's like you're pretty much opening up like the door for so many brand new opportunities once you do that, and it's great.
I think we're all on a mission to become our best versions, and you're not going to do that if you're just the same in the same environment and you're doing the same thing over and over again. We're multifaceted individuals.
Yeah.
So you do need to just do more self-discovery.
We need to wake that giant from within that's asleep within ourselves, kind of like how Tony Robbins said in his book, Awake the Giant from Within. We need to tap into that special gift that we have that makes us our own unique version of ourselves.
That's right.
So overall, Ms. Wizdom, we're actually at the point of the podcast where I'm basically going to ask you a list of questions that I ask everybody who come onto the podcast. That way, we get to know you a little bit better. Sure. So my first question is simple. What is the first thing you do or think of every single day that you wake up?
Blessings, Christ. I say thank you, Jesus. Honestly, most times I have a little anxiety, and it's just the atmosphere. I believe it's not so much internal; it's external. So I wake up with gratitude, and that's my first thing before I even open my eyes and my mind. I'm just saying, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
No, as you should. I mean, we always have to thank God for the opportunity to wake up and see another day, and just allowing us to practice gratitude more than anything, being grateful for the big things, the small things, everything in between, and just remembering when it's all said and done, Ms. Wizdom, that we can do all things through Christ who gives us the strength.
Amen. Philippians 4:13. Yes, that's my favorite scripture.
That's one of my favorite scriptures too. I would say that's one of my top 5 favorite.
Yeah, it's one of my top 5. It's probably number 1. Like that one, and then I love Proverbs 4:7. Those are tied because Philippians 4:13 was always my favorite, and then later on in life, as I developed more wisdom, which is understanding, Proverbs 4:7 reminds us that wisdom is the principal thing, and in all thy getting, get an understanding. So those two are kind of tied. And then I have to mention, since we're talking about it, another one. I don't even know the reference, but I know that without faith, it is impossible to please God, and that's another one. So I have faith. I look for wisdom and understanding, and I believe I can do all things through Christ.
Yep, and that's how we can develop better health and just manifest overall wealth within itself, which kind of leads into the next question I usually ask everybody. When it comes to health and wealth, they're kind of one and the same. You can't have one without the other. In your personal definition, what is your definition of health and wealth for yourself?
Health and wealth. Well, I just the basic generic stuff. Just trying to be positive, staying positive, because it all starts in the mind. If something's wrong with the body, you check the head. Something. So I'm all about just going to get the fresh air, going in nature, like the 23rd Psalms reminds us to go beside the still waters and restore your soul. All of these things are what's important to create the true wealth, internal wealth, from mental health and physical health. That is wealth. So for me, it's just the generic stuff: drinking water, exercising, stretching, being grateful, having gratitude, going by the water, going in nature, staying positive. That's where I begin.
Savers method, basically just establishing your own self-care routine that helps start your day off right. And that's something that I stress tremendously within health, fitness, wealth, business, the importance of just having that moment of silence.
Yes,
solitude. That moment of just having like time to visualize and say positive affirmations and repeating them over and over again. And of course, just exercising, movement that matters. I mean, you don't have to I tell people this all the time. You don't have to go to a gym and go full all out Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson workout style. You could literally go outside your house, y'all, for those who are listening. Not only stretch, Miss Wizdom, but just go for a walk down the street and come back. Even if it's just for 5 minutes. You do that every single day. That's going to make a difference on top of just, reading some self-development books that will help instill knowledge and information into you, and at the same time just writing down your thoughts, writing down what you're grateful for, writing down how you feel. I do all of those things myself every single day, to where I don't feel right if I don't do that to start my day off right.
Wow.
Without a doubt, it becomes a way of life for life to a certain degree.
Okay.
My next question for you is, when it comes to community, define what community means to you when you first hear the word community.
It's where you live. It's, the first thing, where you live, from your house to your neighborhood to your city to your county to your state to your country to your world, where it's all community. And you said something and I wanted to piggyback on it, because you were talking about silencing the sounds around, the noise around you. I feel like we can better control our communities if we can control the community within ourselves and our bodies.
I love that,
because this is a community itself.
Yes, it is. Our body is a temple.
Community. Yes, and so I love to be in. I'm a middle baby, so I spend a lot of time by myself anyway. So I love to be in solitude, and people in relationships. It's been somewhat of a deal breaker when people don't understand. That's why I say, just get an understanding. This is just who I am, and this is what I need. And you were asking me, how did you come up with this stuff? I was able to visualize the logo. It came from God in my sleep, and because I was literally able to hear. When I'm quiet, I can hear the Holy Spirit speak. I can hear my thoughts. And I get these eureka moments like, oh gosh, I know what I'm going to do. I was going to be like the jazz lounge. No, this is a room. It's literally 500 square feet. And so it's a room. So it's the jazz room, and the J, the saxophone, and the M, the keys, and it all comes.
I didn't even recognize that at first. The saxophone has a J, which is genius, and the M for the keys.
It came from my peace in my community, from me and at home, and just having that silence and those moments, those bow baths or whatever you need. It's imperative.
Yeah.
And when you create that peace within yourself, it's going to trickle around your whole entire community. When people come in here, they feel something. They're like, I don't know, it's just this place. I love this vibe. And this is a part of the community, the external community. And I love that. I know that this is uptown. I'm not from here, but I've heard this used to be not so good side of town, which it's safer now. Yeah. But there are still a few people who are from the houseless community, no shade, but they'll kind of feel some type of magnet to this place. And I'm like, I am peaceful to everyone. I welcome that when they come and they're looking and they're knocking, they want to see inside. Sure, I'll let them see. I'll offer them some water, whatever. This is all a part of community. And you can't have this with any fear. You have to have faith. So it all starts inside with peace. I am not afraid of other people. We're all children of God. Yeah. So I'm not afraid of them because of differences. I want them to feel like this is a safe space, and I will protect that place because I want it here. If I'm not here, they might say, hey, you might mess with any other building on this street, but you're not going to mess with the jazz room because that lady, she's nice and she's here in this community making it better. And so it's just it goes from here to external to everywhere that you are, and it just reaches far and beyond. So that's community for me.
We need to update the picture as far as next to the definition of community and just put your face next to it, Miss Wizdom, in all seriousness, because that is something that we need a whole lot more. Yes. I commend you for that.
You.
I appreciate you for taking on the initiative and the challenge towards doing that, because it's peace, love, and positive vibrations, and
everyone's welcome.
Just providing that sense of comfort, that sense of safety, and it's just that sense
oneness. Like you're a part of this as well as I am, and I love that. Like I don't look down on people. You know, there's scripture that says the way you treat the least of them is how you treat me. Yeah. You never know who you're entertaining, and man, you get to talking to people. You find out they were fighting in wars and stuff for us, or their family were famous musicians, and
you never know where
they come from
exactly, or what they've been through. Sit down conversation and just be open-minded, and it's kind of like you seek to understand, then you seek to be understood.
Absolutely. In that order. Oh my gosh. Look at you.
Yes,
awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
You can't have one without the other. There isn't no either or around here, which leads me to my next segment, which is actually ironically enough called Either Or, where I'm going to ask you which one you would choose out of which one. Like, for instance, the first one I'm going to ask you, would you choose loyalty or respect?
It's hard to separate the two, I guess.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
But I would say respect first. Respect. It's all about respect for me. We can respect each other and be in totally separate places. We don't have to be around each other, but we don't, like my ex-husband and I, we're no longer loyal to each other, but we still have a common respect for one another. So I think respect is more important for me personally. But I am loyal. I still have my Cabbage Patch from the second grade. Who can say that? And she's on my bed. Like, she's with me, Sandy. She is one of the first Black Cabbage Patches ever made. And she went through Katrina, and she's never been like, it's amazing how God protected my Cabbage Patch, because she was on the top of a bed at a mattress, and everything in my house was disheveled. I had like 8 feet of water in my house. When I got back to my house 2 weeks later, about 7 inches of mud was there from the water that receded. It was disgusting. But by the grace of God, my little Cabbage Patch was still on the top of my daughter's bed at the time, who was like my little one, who will be 25 next month. Well, he literally let the mattress rise up, and it went right back. And only you saw the water, the mud line on the side of like the bed skirt, but the bed was still made, y'all. It was nothing but the grace of God. I get chills every time I tell the story. And so she's never been touched by the water or anything like that. So she's still clean. She still smells the same. But now it's like, wow, I've had this doll. I think about it since 1981, really Christmas of 81. So it's like 82, I say. But it was December of 81 that I've had this doll, and I think that proves I'm a little loyal, actually.
No, that's loyalty to a whole nother level. That's rare air these days, right there.
Yes. I love my Sandy.
Would you rather live in space or live in the ocean?
Oh, I'd rather live in the ocean. I'm a water person. That's why I moved to Corpus. I love the water. Would
you rather be famous and poor or anonymous and rich?
Definitely anonymous and wealthy, for sure.
This is going to be a given based off of everything that we've been talking about. Or actually, before I get to that, would you rather have unlimited tickets as far as like first class tickets, or would you rather have unlimited meals at your favorite restaurant?
Oh, I'd rather have unlimited meals at my favorite restaurant.
Now we're going to get to the kicker that's pretty much a giveaway. And if you haven't figured it out by now, for those listening to the HFWB podcast series, Miss Wisdom's a very talented artist and she's a very talented singer. And I usually ask everyone this question: would you rather sing or dance to this every song? And I think we know what the answer to that is. Boom! So which leads us to the next question that I have. Picture the scenario, right? You're trapped on an island, but you have the option to listen to your 5 favorite music artists of all time. Their whole entire catalog is included. It doesn't matter what genre it is. Who would those 5 music artists be?
Wow. So we're going to start with Billie Holiday, Miles Davis, Mahalia Jackson. What is that noise? Oh, they're beating. I'm so sorry. That's the guys beating next door.
Yeah.
So then I might go to some Tribe Called Quest, perhaps, some hip hop, and finally, I would just have to say it because he's my birthday brother, twin, Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. I don't know. We got the same birthday, May 21st. So yeah, so you see, I love hip hop, I love jazz, and I love gospel.
That is a very well diverse list, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I love that, actually. What is your favorite go-to meal?
Crab legs.
No hesitation.
Yes, crab legs. I'm going to go get them today. I get them like every other day.
If we haven't figured it out by now, Miss Wisdom knows her music and she knows what she wants to eat, which is like, it's good.
I know what I want.
Exactly.
I know what I want in life. I know what I want in general. I know what I want in a relationship. I know I love peace, and I want to be a person that can serve and give people more peace.
Right.
And that's another reason why I created the jazz room. I feel like there's so much going on in the world, so much toxicity and so much division. And it's all the confusion. And we come here and we have things in common, that we want to have peace. We want to have a good time. We want to enjoy arts and entertainment in the form of music and other things that we mentioned. And that's why I created that. I know that that's what we need.
Where's your favorite place that you've traveled to thus far, and where's a place you would like to travel to that you haven't been to before?
Paris is my favorite, and Belize is where I plan to go that I have never been.
Interesting.
And I want to go to Africa, but you said my favorite, so I'm going to Belize before I go to Africa. I'm just telling you.
No, there's those are not bad choices at all. Yes.
So bad.
So overall, whenever you're not doing all the things that you're doing on a regular basis, and whenever you have a little bit of downtime, so to speak, Ms. Wizdom,
my mom.
What are some of your favorite things that you like to do that many people may not know you like to do in the form of hobbies and stuff?
I love to swim.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. That's my mom. I need to respond to her.
No, you're fine.
Well,
it kind of feeds into what you were talking about earlier, as far as you love to be in tune with the water and everything.
Yes, I love to swim.
Which is ironic, because being in tune with the water, it allows you to have like a better sense of communication and a better sense of tuning into your voice, which ironically enough allows you to sing more fluently.
Yes.
So it kind of all ties together as far as you.
It's good for my breath. It's good. Yeah. It's good for the strength that I need for my lungs. But yes, swimming is something that I do very well, and that's something that people wouldn't imagine. I suppose I was swimming so well in high school that I was swimming against the boys because they didn't have enough girls to do the swim team. So I would do the backstroke, and I would never beat the boys, but I'd be like in third place. I was hanging in there with them.
I'll hold my own now.
Yeah, I was holding my own. Yeah, so that's one thing, and I think it's so good for you health wise, just mentally and physically. People say, "Oh my gosh, she looks so young." Well, I would say I have to attribute it to swimming for my physical,
We just got another HFWB exclusive for everyone who's listening and wondering, how does Miss Wizdom look the way she does? She looks fabulous. She looks like she's younger than she is.
Yes,
that's the secret right there. It's swimming on a regular basis, if not every other day. You'd be surprised on what it could do.
In salt water, not so much in the ocean, but in saline water versus chlorinated water.
Major key right there. Yeah. I didn't even know that. And that's the beauty of what the HFWB podcast series is all about, because you never know what you're going to learn at any given moment, at any given time. Because I didn't even know that. And you just educated me on something in regards to
joints. It's good for soreness. It's good for
I love that
flexibility and mobility. Oh my gosh. I always tell people when they're like, oh, something's wrong. Listen, go get in some water and just move around, tread, just play around in the water. Even if you can't swim, stay in the shallow, but move around, and you're going to feel so much better, and you're going to sleep so much better as well.
I love that. Mm-hmm. My last question for you, Ms. Wizdom, as we wrap everything up here slowly but surely, picture you have the opportunity, right, to go back in time and talk to yourself, say 10 years ago.
10 years.
What would you tell the 10 years? What would you tell that version of yourself 10 years ago? And at the same time, based on your current journey, Ms. Wizdom, where do you see yourself going in the next 10 years?
Okay, great. Yeah. So the first part is don't marry that dude. Okay, that's don't marry him. Don't marry him. The second part is we're moving to the water. The jazz room. See, I have my TV screen on the aquarium because I love water. You can see it right there, the fish and everything.
For those who are watching, there it is. YouTube, there it is.
Yes. So we will have a real aquarium. We will be on the waterfront. I'm claiming all of this. I signed a 3-year lease. So in 3 years, if I'm not ready, we'll renew, and then we'll do it in the following 3 years or 1 year, whatever I decide to do. But we are going to expand to a membership. It won't be members only, but it will be a membership. That's where I'm going. It's all about jazz, all about the arts and the entertainment. I am not slowing down. I am going at a steady pace, and we are going to make some strides here in Corpus Christi, Texas. So I think that this will be soon, one of these days, this will be the world famous jazz room of Corpus Christi, and we are in the original location right now.
And I'm just grateful and honored to be even sitting in the original location and the first of many more locations to come as it comes in due time, with visualization and just speaking it into existence. And speaking of that, for the people who are listening who want to find out more on how they can get in contact with you, they can basically find out more about the jazz room, just give them a friendly reminder of all the events. And oh, by the way, for everyone who's listening to the HFWB podcast series in particular, keep this date in mind, as we were talking about earlier. 7/26/24, July the 26th. We are going to be hosting the first of many to come, the Spoken Words, Let Your Truth Be Told and Let Your Poems Unfold Spoken Words Festival, just to kind of add a different element to the Jazz Room Corpus Christi. And it's just like our paths intersected at the right moment, at the right time.
Serendipitous.
Yes, without a doubt. But yes, let the people know on what's to come.
You can go to room.square.site for the website. You can get a list of events. You can always reserve your tickets there as well in advance, which I highly encourage it. You can also find us on Facebook at Jazz Room Corpus Christi. That's where we are. And we're also on Instagram, same thing, Jazz Room Corpus Christi. You can also shoot us an email at jazzroomcorpuschristi@gmail.com. So we're not hard to find. Seek and ye shall find us.
Oh, and before I forget to add to everything you just said, go check out Miss Wisdom's music as well on her YouTube channel. Go check out her song, It's Me. It's a great song. You're going to love it.
High energy song. I've got a couple more. I've got Easy, which is a neo soul. Really nice. Nice. It's actually my favorite. Easy is featuring my best friend, my BFF. That's who just called me before my mom. Her name is Toy Matthews. She used to perform and record with Arrested Development. She's got a really nice, smooth sound. That's my partner. And so we've got a song called Easy. Support us, download the song, stream it. And then I've got another cool song called the Dollar Store Song. And so it's a fun song as well. But yeah, so check me out, man. I'm really honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to doing more and more with you, Cliff. It's going to be great. We're just getting started. We haven't even scratched the surface yet.
This is literally only the beginning of some very special things to come. And honestly, Miss Wizdom, I'm just grateful and thankful for you blessing us with an appearance on the HFWB podcast series and just allowing the Jazz Room Corpus Christi to get the necessary light shined on it it rightfully deserves. And everybody, y'all need to come check out the Jazz Room Corpus Christi. It's not going anywhere. It's only getting started. 1314 Ayers Street here in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yes.
For all my listeners here in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Friday and Saturday nights, especially Thursday nights comedy, it's already packed. But Friday and Saturday nights, you can get your tickets online, and you'll love it. Now, I will be closed for the weekend coming up just because I've been open all year. I haven't had any time off. So I'm going to take my Independence Day, and I'm actually going to be independent. I'm going to be chilling at home, probably somewhere, not even on the beach, because when everybody's somewhere they are, I go the other way. Yeah, I do love my solitude. Yeah, I'm the same way. So, but yeah, I look forward to seeing each of you at some point or another at Jazz Room Corpus Christi.
We're only just getting started. Yes. And with that being said, again, thank you so much, Miss Wizdom. We will definitely be keeping an eye out for you because we're making big things happen. Check out her album for those listening on Apple and Spotify podcasts and not watching on YouTube. Miss Wisdom's holding up her vinyl record.
Wizdom with a Z.
Wizdom with a Z. It's me. Y'all go check it out for sure. Thank you so much once again, Miss Wizdom. Yes, and thank everyone who's listening to this episode of the HFWB podcast series.
Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Yes, indeed.
And have a wonderful day and life on purpose, intentionally.
Yes, it's yours truly, Clifton Pope with HFWB, encouraging y'all to stay healthy, wealthy, and blessed. Till next time, peace and love and positive vibrations.